Hello and welcome to Ant RC. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Terry.
Yes.
Me again.
Look at this. We have the two beasties. I prefer the one on the top, to be fair.
The non-premium quality one.
Yes.
Zoom in, Terry. Zoom in.
Zoom in.
Yes, we finally got together. We brought both trucks together as well. They're in various pieces. You won't believe how much mess two of these things can make once you get all the bags out. So this is really a follow-up video to the quick unboxing exercise I did last night, which you've already got up on the channel, and really just to pick up where that left off, which was with the box, the GAZ command post radio module, I guess. Because I wanted to show you, before we get into the comparison of the two trucks, which is really what this video is all about, just a plan view, if you will, of my vision, what this thing's going to look like. And
we've laid this out before doing this, and it is quite exciting.
We were quite amazed, so we thought we'd better get this on video because it is quite a thing to see. And so the point really is, here's the load bed of the MC8. Is it bigger than your box? No, not quite. Here's the load bed of the MC8. This will be the front with the battery hole in it. Here's the one-piece cab that you'll have seen on Terry's MC6 video.
Yeah, the cabs are all the same size.
Yeah, the front end of the truck's the same. So that will sit like so, pretty much. And the box, now my original plan with the box was to have it at the front end of the load bed, the back of the load bed empty, accessorise that a little bit. But Mal at Basildon Trailblazing Buddies, our good friend, he reminded me that there's a battery box going to sit on the front end of the load bed.
Yeah, it sits just in there, right behind the cab.
Yeah, so it's going to sit in here, about the size of a big 3S LiPo probably.
We're going to need 3S LiPos to power these beasts.
Yeah, I'm going to take some moving. So the next plan is to have the command box at the back of the truck, which is not a bad idea because it has an entry door in the shell and a metal step ladder as well, which I'm sure I can deploy towards the back of the truck. So I don't know, it might not be too bad a plan, is it, to have that at the back.
Also, it really shows, if I just zoom out here a moment, it really shows the size of this thing. It is incredible. I like the fact that there's that big gap behind the actual cab itself.
Yeah,
it really is
it'd be
impressive.
beautiful to have a crane arm or something in there as well.
Oh, behave.
And this kind of thing. But yeah, I think I was saying to Mal today on YouTube, it's got to draw the line between ambition and talent. Obviously, the ambition can quickly outstrip the talent. And the time, it can take another month of work just to get a crane arm.
And what did you say at the start? Oh, it's only going to take
six
weeks to build it. We were having this conversation when I bought mine, because as you may be aware from watching the build videos, I've taken quite a while, and that's because I've got a very busy life. Andrew hasn't really got a busy life, he's got more time than I have, so he should be able to build it in half the time.
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks might be a bit ambitious now.
But he is the world's...
6 weeks to find all the bits.
You're the world's biggest faff merchant.
Anyway, that's not what this video is all about, cheeky wretch. So that's the current plan now, is maybe to have the command box towards the back of the truck. And we've had a look at the bed rails. I'm not sure what to call them still, but they do come in individual sections. So mine's got 3 individual sections, and we think we should be able to get one complete section in here, or the back if I go that way.
Yeah, so he's talking about those rails there that go along the side of the truck.
These fellas here.
Yeah, those ones there.
So they come in this, each of those, you can see them there, 1, 2, 3, so they're a third of the load bed each, not surprisingly. So I think they're about that big, so they will, at least I'll have some load bed to stock up.
Yeah, see, I'm tempted with mine, I think. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to put on mine yet, because I don't know if it's going to work, but...
I think I might let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, did you?
I may have done.
Oh, a JCB digger.
Yeah.
1/14 scale, 1/12 scale even. Yeah, I don't think I like the idea of having the side bits on the load bed. I quite like the idea of having them open. We'll see. It also means less gluing.
Now, on the subject of load beds,
yes.
This is enough about my ambitious plans. Let's put that away down there. To the point of the video, really, which was not to go through my MC8 box with all of its bits and pieces. They're all bagged up. I've no intention of taking them out of the bags yet. And it just becomes a plastic bag after plastic bag exercise. And most of them are the same as Terry's, so be a bit redundant. This, for example, is exactly the same as Terry's. So, seen it already. The difference between the two trucks is what we struggled to get a handle on YouTube before we bought them. There's not a whole pile of comparison. Maybe not that many people are fortunate enough to have the two trucks at the same time in the same, roughly the same condition. So, the first comparison we're going to draw is the size of the load beds. This is where the chassis difference is most visible. And you can see it's...
Yeah, see...
Let me get the temperature.
Yeah, it doesn't... The face of it doesn't look that much, but it is quite a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, when you put it on the ground, and it is a significant difference, so...
I think it's 10 centimetres.
Yeah, it's just a shade over 10 centimetres, I would say, and that is, you know, a significant difference at this scale. It's quite a high proportion of the load bed area. So, one of the interesting things that we did mull over on the floor just before we started filming was how does that translate to the wheelbase? Because the wheel, any one of these wheels, is bigger than 10 centimetres across.
Yeah, for those that don't know, we're assuming that you do, but if I zoom in here to the boxes, you'll notice that there's 3 wheels each side on my MC6 and 4 wheels each side on the MC8. So obviously...
Shows in the title, really.
Yes. So there's more wheels to go on, but it doesn't look like there's that much more space on the load bed. So what we were saying was that there's going to be a much bigger gap between, you know, in the middle of the load bed between the 2 axles on mine. So it's probably more likely. Yeah, it's probably more likely to get hung up.
Yeah, the front wheel obviously is fixed because the cab is the same. The second wheel on mine will be this sort of position, but and then I've got 2 wheels. They're going to be roughly here now. With Terry's 2 wheels going to be about there. I'm curious to see what kind of is the gap here on here is going to be slightly longer than mine. The truck isn't a wheel length longer, in other words, so there must be some kind of compromise somewhere.
And I'm sure in lots of competitions that are going to come at some point.
Well, it could be quite interesting because you're going to have a lot less weight to drag up the hill in the first place to get to the crest that you're going to get stuck on. I'll be wallowing around at the bottom of it, digging holes probably while you're up at the top, balancing on the
and then crying as it goes rolling down the hill
into mine.
Yeah,
like when we went out with Comanche.
Yeah, that's normal service. My truck accidentally rolled into Andrew's, and it is always an accident, I promise. Yeah. Okay, quick jump cut. That's fine. Welcome back. The next comparison is going to be the chassis rails. Those that have watched my build videos so far, and if you haven't, please do check it out. Yes, it's a good series actually. Andrew's not going to do a whole build video, I don't think, because obviously there'd be no point because our trucks are pretty much the same.
Exactly.
He is going to go through the differences though, which means he does get out of actually having to film the build. So that's my excuse why mine will take longer.
It'll be similar to Terry's, but maybe I'll stop a little bit less often, so my summaries will be a little bit longer, focusing again on the differences. So, obviously following on from the load bed, the obvious then difference is going to be the chassis rails. This is Terry's part completed chassis now with a motor servo for steering, which is your 23 kilo
Power HD, which is a lovely servo, I have to say. I put it in the other night. That's not been on the build video so far. It's really fast. I really like it.
And his 2-speed gear servo is fitted.
Yes.
In there. Obviously the pre-assembled motor and gearbox. Now, the motor and gearbox is the same in the 8. We've had a look at them, they are identical, so that's cool. Nothing's noticed there. 45 turns still, isn't it? 45 turn. But the chassis wheels obviously going to be longer, so how much longer are they going to be? If I got mine the right same way around as yours, doesn't really matter, does it? So if we start at the back, where the tail lights are going to go, again you can see.
Yeah, so they're lined up at the back, and then we get to the front.
We're back to that 10 centimeters again.
Yeah.
I should imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give or take. Yeah. So again,
that's where it's a bit. That's where it's quite scary when you line them up next to each other. I think the chassis is going to be different. We were discussing this as well because
that is a significant. You know, I'm 6 foot tall, and that's to my idea. It's very hard to get a scale on these things.
Yeah, when it's built, it's going to be quite difficult to get it in and out of the car and bits and pieces. The thing we were talking about earlier, Andrew, if you lift up my chassis and turn it upside down, you can see the servo here, the front, the steering arm servo is mounted with the horn downwards. And of course the MC8, both front wheels steer. So it led us to think about the fact that there are going to be some fairly significant differences like that, in that the servo mount is going to have to mount downwards, because obviously...
why don't I go and get the instruction book?
Yes, why don't you?
It'll magically appear.
Yes, why don't you? So welcome back. Here we are at the correct page.
Yes, so we can see here is the assembly of the servo and the various connecting rods. It is mounted facing down, up in this case, upside down. You've got the two, what look like supplied servo horns, sitting in between the two axles. So as the servo pushes and pulls, instead of just being the one arm on it as we used to, there's going to be another one on the other side. So hence the steering turns like so, and the wheels turn.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, the difference, because we got one servo driving two sets, or steering two sets of wheels. So I'm interested to see.
I've got the same servo as Terry. It's just arrived. I haven't unwrapped it yet. So it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be strong enough. Hopefully it's going to be... actually, I was going to take the fancy one out of the 10.2, wasn't I? Yeah, I may yet take the fancy one out of the... you might... Out of the 10.2. Put the best servo I've got into this. I think it's going to be sensible, isn't it?
Yeah, the one out of the 10.2, that servo out of the 10.2 is pretty killer. It is.
Yeah. So we might, I might do that and put this 23 one in there. Anyway, we digress and ramble on as we do. So yes, that's going to be a big difference on the chassis layout. Is the servo is going to be sat upright, facing down. Yeah, cool. So aside from having more holes in the chassis, of course, then I think, otherwise it's the same motor. We're not sure, we haven't worked out quite yet whether the placement of these things is any different. Is the motor in a different place because of the extra steering mechanism? We haven't yet identified that.
I think
it's hard to tell from all the holes.
Yeah, I think it should be very, very similar. I wouldn't have thought it would be that different.
Yeah. And if I'm even just doing this a bit on the ad hoc. So if you look at so these must be the same pairs of holes here. So
yes, they are.
So if that's, what do you think, these are shocks? This must be where the axles sit then. But you see, if I line these up, I'm coming up much shorter at the back, so maybe I've got less rear overhang. Maybe I'll have slightly less rear overhang than you will.
This is going to be something that it will be interesting.
So maybe I then do have much the same gap between the axles as you do, because my back wheels are getting pushed further back.
Further backwards.
And I've obviously, I don't know, where's the... Yes, it's going to be an interesting little puzzle to see exactly how things are laid out, how much... Is this cutout? Ah, I see, so that cutout is where the motor sits. Isn't it? So the motor's not too dissimilar a place.
Yeah, you might be right actually in the fact that there might not be a huge gap.
Yeah, if I line the back axles up...
That pleases me somewhat because,
So if I line the back axles up, look, the motor's in the same place. So and it looks like those two holes. Anyway, so
It's
yeah,
pretty
there are
close.
some similarities, but then there's a difference at the back. So there must be some.
Well, when you pull your finger out and you start getting the chassis together and you're
Yeah.
trying to catch me up, we'll do another quick video really to see how they compare side by side when they're built. It's a bit difficult to tell now because
Yes.
you know I did say to you, Andrew, to put these together last night, but you know.
I was a bit tired after filming and doing a whole bunch of channel stuff. Yeah, so what were you doing last night? Oh yeah, nothing. So this is yeah, so this is going to be an interesting comparison. See how the various parts are laid out. Right, on to the next, shall we?
Okay, jump cut again. Welcome back. So the other comparison is between the axles, because I was a cheapskate and well not a cheapskate, it's still expensive, but I went for the B kit, not the C, and the B kit comes with plastic axles. So the black ones are my axles here.
A little bit of assembly work done.
Yes, indeed. And the silvery grey ones are Andrew's, and they are all metal, including the metal steering arms as well, which I think on mine I'm going to end up replacing them. I'm probably going to order that very soon. So Simon, I will be in touch. I think they are quite flimsy, and you know, 7 kilos worth of truck, I reckon they're going to break fairly soon.
Yeah, yeah.
So I might replace them fairly sharpish. So we're going to put them on the scales, but before we do that, holding them in your hand, there is a huge difference in weight. There is a huge difference in weight. Yeah. And Andrew's got a thing with metal axles, and he's had metal axles on his SCX10 from the start. They're very blingy, cost a lot of money, and I'm not necessarily convinced how good they are.
Mr. Traxxas.
Mr. Traxxas, yeah. I mean,
Speaking of a lot of money.
yeah.
Anyhow, yes. So, let me just interject there before we go much further down that line. Yeah, I mean, I said yesterday on last night's video that the metal axles are great. They're not why I got this particular version. However, they are a sort of, you know, they are a plus point. These are sort of 70 quid a go, and there's 4 of them. So I didn't want to be in a position ever where I felt that, oh, if only I'd got the metal axles, or you know, for the extra outlay from the C kit to the B kit, 100 quid, you know, it's one of these. There's 4 of them. So they've got the hardened gears in as well, which you had to replace.
Yeah,
yours,
as you'll
didn't
see
you?
if you go to my first build video, I bought the hardened gears, which were £13. I think I got a discount. Thank you, Simon. And I stripped it down and put them in.
Yeah, one of the things I think we mentioned at that point, and I think it's worth saying again, is the A version, which we don't talk about, the black sheep of the family, the A version of these kits. It was recommended to us, I'm not going to say who recommended because it's not fair, but it was recommended to us that the A version of the kit, with its plastic axles, its plastic drive shafts, just isn't very durable. And it sounds to me a bit like it's the kind of thing that if you want to just put it on a shelf or put it on display, you'd get the A kit obviously, but if you intend to run the trucks with any kind of enthusiasm,
Yes, I think anything other than just a flat trail, the B kit upwards.
the axle, the prop shafts break straight away. So the A kit, if you're going to be any kind of outdoor enthusiast with this thing, yeah, B kit minimum, I would say. And then you need the hardened gears, because even in these plastic axles, the gears are not strong enough.
You get metal gears, but you don't get the hardened ones.
Yes, they're not so hard. You don't want to take three or let alone 4 axles out and start replacing gears after you've run it for a couple of weeks. It just will be, at this kind of money, oof, no way. So I'm glad it's got metal axles. I think that's really cool. It doesn't struggle for weight, I think. But
Are you gonna paint them?
am I going to paint them? I'm not sure I can be bothered, frankly. I don't see why. I see everybody on YouTube spraying their chassis and painting all their suspension and it. It's like, no, probably not. I quite like this sort of slightly metallic.
It looks
a
good.
little bit of a kind of gloss finish on it.
Yeah, because mine, I think, actually looks more toy-like than, you know, it doesn't look. Mine doesn't look real. I don't think.
Is it called a patina? They call it. It's kind of got a nice sort of bit of a shine on it, but not much. It's just got a little bit of a glow to it. Yeah, I don't see any reason to paint these.
It looks good.
Really.
I am secretly a little bit jealous, and part of me wishes I'd spent the extra, but you know.
And there are dog bone steering in the ends there, which could be...
Which is the same on mine, so yeah, we're not sure how they're going to last.
As I say, explaining last night, I came very close to getting the HC6, primarily because it's cheaper, and it's an M35 deuce and a half, which is a bit of a legend. And the steering on that can be upgraded to a CVD, isn't it? The joint, the much better universal joint kind of steering connectors. You can get the upgrade kit for it for not a lot of money. These are a bit of a weak link, maybe. The dog bone snapping. So that remains to be seen.
Let's get them on scales.
Let's get them on a scale. Any old money? Right, I'm going to do this in grams because we're in the UK. So Terry's, complete with hardened gears and links.
166
grams. Now this is this axle because it's got prop shaft coming out of each end.
So that's the second axle in line.
Yeah, it's not the front one. It's the middle steering axle. So probably the heaviest of the lot.
325. That is a beast.
Yeah, so that's twice as heavy.
Yeah, that is an absolute beast. That's impressive. That I'm really interested. I mean, especially as the fact you've got 4 of these. That's going to add a lot more weight. And certainly when I walked in and I lifted the MC8 box up, I nearly gave myself a hernia.
Yeah, I was struggling last night. I made the mistake of trying to pick it up one-handed.
Yeah, and if you look, they're fairly well lined up. There is a fairly big difference. But we should see how the weight affects. I'm really really pleased that we've got 2 different trucks. Because
it's good that it gets a lot of weight down low.
Yes.
Because if the back is empty, then there's a lot of weight up the front and not a lot of the weight at the back. And one of our good friends on YouTube, he was just saying how his MC4, the only 2-axle version, had recently gone. Well, shall we call it?
For a Burton.
Gone for a Burton. Had gone
roly-poly.
Tail overhead down a hill. He took the finger off the throttle, so the drag brake kicked in, and the whole rig just flipped end over end because it's so light at the back and so heavy. And
when that happens to ours, I think grown men will be captured crying.
It won't happen to mine. You felt the box, man. It's not good.
Wow.
I'm going to be flipping over.
How about if I kick it, you know?
Well, what worried is just going to wallow about at the bottom of the hill because gravity's got its inexorable grip on it.
I don't intend to take mine. You kept saying you would take yours through the mud and treat it quite harshly. I want to take mine. I want to use it gently. Gently. Welcome back.
Right. So next up are the wheels. Now, my wheels are a little different to Terry's. These are the wheels which come out of the kit. Different in that they're white.
Yeah, apologies. I forgot to bring mine. My kit is kind of, because it's being built, the wheels are actually on my on the shelf in my garage at home, so I forgot to bring them.
Yeah, so poor show all round. So these are I can't even remember how it goes. I had to think about this when we were doing yours. But that's ultimately how it's going to look with the big plastic hubcap thing sticking out. This middle hubcap section you can see. Which is fine. Very military, very, scale and lovely, but it doesn't really do it for me. I'm a bit of a wheel fan, as you may have already heard. So the probability is I won't be using any of those, all 8 of them, nor will I be using the stock tyres, which are much better looking than the previous version's tyres looked. But I find they just seem really hard, really unforgiving, and very true to life. I've looked at the YouTube videos of the real thing, and they don't have a lot of tyre flex and so on. So yeah, pretty scale, but I'm not sure that these are going to work too well in the muddy slop that we generally run around in. So I've ordered a set of eBay cheapies. These are rip-off Super Swampers, like the ones I've got on my 10.2. Those are Proline ones, official ones, on steel beadlocks, an absolute steal, 52 quid for 8 on eBay. Beautiful. So these
I like
are
the
about
colour.
the same. Yeah, they're about the same weight. I think they feel about the same weight. 181. Let's sort of put all of its bits. Yeah, 163. So that'll probably be about the same once I get all of the bits in there.
I think you're going to have to put some heavier foams in those.
But these have got really, yeah, they're really squidgy, almost formless. It's a shame because they came pre-mounted as well. Don't really want to have to take them all apart to put foams in.
I think if you put a 10 kilo truck on those tyres,
It's just going to flatten them, isn't it?
yes, it's not going to be pretty. I don't think.
So they're the same size, give or take. Yeah, give or take, that's the same size.
So they should fit fine.
So they should fit fine. I'm glad that they were. The eBay site had the measurements of them, the dimensions of them, and they actually are true and correct, which is cool. Didn't want to interfere with the steering or the clearances between the two tyres. It's a big thing. If you've got two tyres next to each other like this on the axles and you end up with tyres that are too big, they ain't going to work, are they? So they had to be the same diameter and the same width ideally. Cool, they are. Official Proline Super Swampers are bigger, which is good to see. So,
Okay, that's the tyres. On to the next bit.
on to the next.
Jump cut.
Right, so one of the other differences that we have between the B and the C is contained within this unmarked bag, and it's to do with the suspension, the shocks and so on. Now what is the same, let's start off with there. Now both kits now have the metal link eyes, which I understand from Basil and Blow Email, that's not always been the case. That the B kit hasn't always come with these. Or anyway, they've come with metal eyes in both B and C kits, which is cool. Metal shocks. The B kit doesn't advertise metal shocks. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct, but it has got metal shocks. Yes.
But it does come with them, so you get a sort of bonus set of metal shocks with the B kit these days, which is really cool. Bags of bolts, they're the same. Right. So what is different?
The bottom mounts for mine are metal, so those are metal.
So those are the same.
Those are the same.
The links,
They're the same.
metal, same.
These are then different.
So these will be the shock mounts. Let's find the page in the book. And you can see we're very professional. We've got all these things marked out already. Not. So in the shock building exercise, I'm going to say it's this bit, isn't it?
Yes.
The top of the shock tower.
Yeah, see, with mine, I've just had to break them off of, like, you know, the plastic racks that you get, the trays.
Yeah. There's the clue, isn't it? So in the instructions for the B and C model, you've got a separate cutaway for the C model, which has a metal shock tower cap, I guess, and this metal. I don't know. Is that what it joins to the chassis?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, this is where the damper.
Yeah, that's where the actual damper joins onto it. So it's this bit here in the bag, which equates to that bit at the top here. Yeah. Mine again. I've just literally, because I'm building them at the moment. For those who haven't still watching the build video, I had to take them off the tray and put them on 71 grams. I haven't got mine here to weigh mine because they're all at home.
So 210 grams between the 8 shocks in metal parts, which is really cool.
This is where the weight comes from. This is such an absolute monster.
Yeah, so we can see there's the shocks being mounted onto the side, onto these metal components now, which sit at the top of the metal housings. So a little bit more rigid, I would imagine.
Yes, definitely.
Once this poker gets rattling around, it's probably going to be a good thing. Now, what is also different are the springs, not only in quantity, but also in colour. You have 2 different colours, right, Tal?
Yeah, the front springs on mine are red, which I believe it means they're stiffer, and the back springs are black. Now, going back to what Mal said from Basildon Trail Blading, he said, that he's MC4 rolled over, and he's putting harder springs on the front. So these are obviously the newer the newer kits, so maybe they've done that on purpose and put the heavier springs at the front.
Yeah, they've already learnt their lesson by the sounds of it. But mine are all the same. Mine, there doesn't seem to be any colour gradient in there, and there's no note in the manual to say which to use where. So I'm guessing I've got 8 springs all the same, which maybe is understandable. We've got a bit more even weight distribution.
Well, what it might mean, Andrew, is that they knew you were buying it, so they thought, because you're Mr. Roll Happy, that they'd continue that theme.
Just can't help himself.
Yeah, to continue that theme and see this baby rolling over.
Your mouth is again cashing checks that you can't cash. Right, next difference. We're running out of differences.
Yes, we are. Okay, jump cut again. Yeah.
Right, so one of the other main additions in the C kit is the sound card that it comes with. It comes with a truck engine sound system model SK1 and speaker, naturally. And I've got to say, I'm fairly underwhelmed by this. Wasn't sure what I was expecting, but you know, if we'd have pulled the lighting kit out and showed you the lighting kit, which is just like a couple of octopuses bagged together, this is distinctly underwhelming. Obviously, it's all about the noise it makes, isn't it? Which is what's more important.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the speaker in mine, but I didn't get the sound card thingy. And we were saying that, you know, that's £70, I think it is. Not to try and put people off buying it, but yeah, if I paid £70 and got that through the post, I'm sure it does some wonderful things. But to look at, so don't be shocked when it turns up, because it's just a little card. And again, we're going to be running ours through water and mud, and waterproofing.
You might stay in the bag. I might be keeping the Ziploc bag.
Yeah, keep it in the bag. Keep it in the bag for when it rolls over in the mud.
Yeah,
we're not sure about the sounds anyway, are we?
No, I'm going to have to be convinced about the sounds. I'm not sure how realistic something this size, one speaker, can portray a massive behemoth like these trucks are terribly convincingly, without it sounding like it's coming out your phone. But it's difficult on YouTube because obviously you generally don't get brilliant audio when people are out and about recording. So yeah, we're going to hear it in the flesh, and we'll try and record it with some decent audio gear to give everyone a good idea what it sounds like.
Indeed. Right, jump rolling.
Okay, so we're almost done. One of the obvious differences that when we opened the bag was quite clear. The drive shafts are different. Both billed as metal. I kind of would have expected that they would be identical, if not, obviously slightly different layout on the 8-wheeler. But these are Terry's in this rather fetching bluey green, which I quite like. And these are mine. Clearly more professional heavy duty colouring, which is very important. So they look stronger, they look more professional, so therefore are going to be better. I think you'll agree, Terry, would you not?
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Is probably the answer.
Well, I'm just thinking that when we get these out on the trail, the videos will tell the story themselves. Although I'm going to try and not get into any competitions, but that just,
Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. Right, so can you see that one better? Can you get down that one? Yeah. So you've got 4 grooves in there.
Yeah. And you've got...
I've got 6.
6 grooves. Okay, fine, yeah, so they are better.
They're all 6 grooves?
So they are better.
Yeah, they're all 6 grooves. Does that make them better? Makes them different?
I would assume, thinking on that point from an engineering point of view, that if there's more, they're tighter, there's more for the teeth to grip into each other.
Less pressure on each tooth.
Less pressure on each tooth, less slop, better power transfer.
And they're better colour. Let's not forget that.
Yes, indeed they are. I will agree.
End bits on. No, they've got shiny end
bits.
I
will agree. I will give him that. I am.
So that's the thing. I don't know. We'll have a look at the box and we'll let you know in the comments maybe what the difference is on the. Okay, let's do it now. It doesn't really mention prop shafts at all, does it? We will dig a little further.
Yes.
I don't remember the spec that we've poured over for many months now, saying that the shafts are any different between the B and the C.
Because I think you can buy these ones separately, so I think they are upgraded to And your shocks are a different colour than mine as well. My shocks
Yours are more like this colour.
my shocks are this kind of blue, whereas yours match the drive shaft. Yes.
Okay.
This is exciting, and the build will commence shortly.
Right. The last thing. Sorry.
Here we go.
Here
the
we
tarpaulin.
Look. So this is the other thing. Now you might think, if I'm going to put that big box on the back, what was so exciting about this? Well, it's going to be a nightmare, isn't it? Can you imagine me trying to put this on? It's going to be...
Let's just say for now, the things that happen off camera normally. Andrew and his trailer, when I convince him to get a trailer, we're sitting outside the car, and it takes a good 10 minutes while I'm sat there in a deck chair that I've pulled out the back of the boot of my car to wait for him to put all his accessories on and his chains and bits and pieces, Mr. Faffer. So I am very, very keen. I wasn't bothered about the tarp. It looks wicked, but I have not... Look at that rope. I have not got the patience. Oh, look at that. That's not going to come tangled quickly, is it?
Shut up. It won't be an in-field alteration I make to the truck, no, but look at that.
That's quite special.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, that is quite special. Yeah, I have to say.
So the idea of this stops me having to, accessorise the load bed. I don't really want a big empty load bed because it seems to be defeating the point of having a big long truck. So sometimes it's going to carry this, and this would be nice if you stain it up. It'd be nice if it sits properly on the ridges, so you get a little bit of sag. And
well, when it rolls over in the mud, the staining will be realistic, won't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or when you splatter it with your great big giant cloven feet. Yeah.
We do like each other, really.
A little bit. So that's the other difference. Obviously, this comes with this 30 quid's worth of tarp.
Yeah, oddly, mine has that the kind of all the
you get all the hoops, don't you?
All the hoops and everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually have the cloth, which I thought was a bit weird.
And I can't remember. Can you buy the cloth without the hoops?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be ironic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Only get more hoops.
So maybe anyone watching this, if they want to buy that for kind of a $5, let me know and I'll send it to you because I'm never going to use it. Or
all right, not for sales promotions. Come on, there's probably a YouTube license being probably get kicked off now. So anyway, so there's the top. I'm quite excited about that. It's a good colour as well. I don't want to do green. I'm not going anywhere near green, so I'm quite glad that's not green.
What colour is the truck going to be? I don't think we've discussed this. Mine, before we go anywhere, mine's going to be grey.
Yeah.
I think mine. I think I want the colour of mine to be grey, and Andrew's might be white.
I'm thinking about white primarily because I want it to get naturally weathered and filthy. I think that will be great. I quite like the idea of doing it a grey like this engine casing. Like the axles, that kind of very light grey, not like a navy grey, not like a dark like this, like the box art is maybe. I don't want to go into that kind of panzer grey kind of territory. Just to stay in this very light grey would maybe be. I'm also contemplating having. I made a comment on the previous video about where my inspiration came from for the whole carb thing and layout of the truck. There's a video, a guy called Chris H is his channel, and he seems to be one of these guys who runs a motorcycle adventure tours across the desert and so on, and they appear to have a MAN Cat 8 truck as a support unit. And it seems to be different colours. The carb is grey, but the roof is camouflage green. The the load bed appears to be a different set of green colours with some orange stickers on, orange stripes on. So I quite like the idea of having a bit of a mishmash going on between the whole scheme, rather than all being like as if it came out of the factory that way, just to kind of make it a little bit more visually interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to...
We're a long way.
We are a long way. I think, realistically, the time scale we've say now is probably for spring next year, probably, I'd say. That's, I think, realistically for me. And that'll be perfect because then they won't get too muddy. We can test them out in the dry first. But we should wait and see. You never know, we might have
I'm still optimistic I might get... I don't think I'll get both the cab and the truck built before Christmas, but I'm hoping I will get
Now that is a strong claim. Now everybody's heard this, okay? Everybody's heard this. Before Christmas, the truck built. Not the cab, but the truck.
I'm hoping I would have the truck rolling by Christmas. I'm going to say rolling, like a rolling chassis.
No, that's no.
Built.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's the end of the video for now.
Yeah.
You know, thanks very much for watching.
Do be patient. Terry will have another bit of progress on this in another week or two. So, stand by.
Yeah, well, the weekend I'm going to try and do some more on it, and it's really going to be down to putting the shocks and everything on the axles. For me, really, it's just a matter of time, and time isn't, easy to get hold of right now. We're weighing the chassis.
So far, I'm trying not to touch it. Somewhere about 1230 kilos. Yeah, 1240. Let's say 1240.
It's a 1.2 kilos.
1.2 kilos already in there with no axles or wheels.
It's a bit of a beast. It's a bit of a beast. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Please keep up with the progress. We've got 2 awesome trucks, and we're venturing into 4K video, so we are going to have some amazing videos coming up in the future on the channel with these 2 bad boys running together, and we are super excited. So please stay tuned, and thanks for the support, and please like and subscribe. Bye for now.
Bye for now.